Hello, you fellow coronavirus influencers out there. That's right. We're coronavirus influencers now. That's what they're calling us. But I don't like to call it coronavirus because it was made in Wuhan, China. We should use their term Wuhan Fei Yan. Wuhan Fei Yan. I'm an Wuhan Fei Yan influencer. Is this fashionable? All right, today's latest news. The latest from Wuhan. My family lives in Wuhan. I lived in China for 22 years. I was there during SARS. I was on the plane that left Beijing, the last plane out, similar to the plane. But today's news is P2p, the first, let's see if I can write this down. The first, or the premiere, the very first P2p infection has in the US. All right. So what does that mean? Not enough people are wearing their masks? No. Because these masks, no, no good. Washing your hands, staying away from people, that's good. Washing your face, don't touch your face when you're outside in the air. They say if you're within 2 meters, about 6 feet, then you can catch it if it gets on you. So what you want to do is keep with you some hand sanitizer inside your. Hopefully they'll make some fashionable clothes that have for coronavirus influencers. Let's have a commercial. Yeah, you have to look good staying alive. Bum, bum, bum. All right, so now they're calling us coronavirus influencers. They're trying to shame us, I guess. Yeah. Well, uh, 要说英文是不是？That's right. 武汉加油. I want to say 武汉加油. And we need more people like me who are talking to real people who know the real deal inside Wuhan. I have many Chinese family, many Chinese friends. I know now they're being discriminated against. So now in America, if you're Asian looking, doesn't matter if you're from Wuhan or from, people are starting to discriminate against people again more and more because of what they look like. Let's not do that. 好吗？要我说中文是吗？是这个意思吗？我有家里都在武汉。All right, today I'm going to tell you one story I learned about this pregnant mom. 有一个妈妈是怀孕的。So here's how it is. She had another kid, and it was time to go pick the kid up. It was time to pick in Wuhan, at the Wuhan #1 school, right? So it was time to pick the kid up, but she felt sick, the mama from Wuhan. So she sent her husband to go pick up the kid. And instead, she went to the hospital. This is right when the outbreak happened in Wuhan. This is a story I just heard yesterday from people who know this lady. Anyway, so she sent her husband to get her older kid, and she was pregnant. So it's a really sad story. But she sent her husband. She went to the hospital. She was, she didn't feel well. This is before everyone knew what was up. So she went into the hospital, and then she called her husband. Oh, I have some issue. I have to stay here. And she went in, and then she started to get sicker and sicker. This coronavirus, this Wuhan Fei Yan, it attacks both the lungs. So she went into the hospital, and her husband never saw her again alive. She went in, deteriorated so fast. She didn't get to see her kid, and her and the baby in her belly are gone. Total quarantine in the hospital. That's very strange for China, because usually in China, which sort of, I know, push this forward, is the whole family can stay with you inside uh, the room. I was in. I had two operations in China, which required me to stay at the hospital for a few days. Uh, Twice I was in the hospital. Both times I shared a room with a couple people, and both times those people's whole families came and stayed with us inside the Chinese hospital. This was Beijing during SARS in 2003, around that time. So when I was in the hospital in 2003, they allowed the family to stay with you, which is not safe, but it's so comforting. It's comforting to have them near. It gives you strength. But this lady in Wuhan, she didn't get to say goodbye to her family. They didn't get to say goodbye to her. And this was the very early, before they made the new hospital. But Wuhan Jiao, now they're making these new hospitals. They're really trying hard, and they're hoping that it's going to peak within 10 days, because now it's the spike. What comes up must come down, right? But that lady's family, they didn't give a proper goodbye. But in China, it used to be you would meet somebody, you don't say ni hao, how good. You say ni chi le ma, ni chi le ma, have you eaten? Because really they do care about people, especially people they know, but everyone you meet, you want to ni chi le ma, have you eaten? You want to show respect and show that you care and reach out, especially now to people. But now we can do it through Facebook, FaceTime, but YouTube can be influencer, but not in China. They block it. And they have total control over the internet there, which they got to relax. They got to relax on that. They got to trust their own people. You have to trust your own people. But now it's everywhere. Wuhan is where it started. My family, my wife's family is all from Wuhan. Uh, my daughter was born there in Wuhan. I was in China 22 years. I know it's serious right now. But now in America, they had the first p2p, person to person, uh, infection. So everywhere else, and even if you're an influencer, this is just flimsy. The strongest thing you can do is wash your hands. Keep that alcohol-based thing nearby. Just keep it clean. Fight. You're a warrior. I'm not an influencer. I'm a warrior. Influential warrior. Okay, we can say that. But YouTube influencer. Okay, but coronavirus influencer. I don't know if I like that term. Warrior or messenger. I'm just trying to help. Communicator. I like communicator. Hmm? Communicator. And I don't like to say coronavirus. You know that I like to say Wuhan Feiyan. And it's in Hubei. So sometimes people say Hubei or Wuhan. Hubei. Uh, that's the province. Hubei. Hubei. And then Hunan is a different province. And then Hubei, Hunan. Inside Hubei is Wuhan. But it's the center of China. The center of China. It used to be the center of the culture of China. So it's very important, not only because all the trains go through there and lots of planes and trains and buses, but it's also the fifth largest by population, number 5. But they say it's like the third most important, Beijing, Shanghai, and Wuhan is for technology. But I hope this technology helps them realize that they are warriors, not influencers. But we can say influential warriors. And I hope they use their technology to help people say goodbye. And once a person dies in China, it's almost 100% now that uh, cremate. They cremate the bodies. But even cremated, if you had SARS, they would not let you be buried in certain places. China has only a certain amount of space. And I remember in China, I was there in Beijing, and they said it was like 2010. After this date, we're not going to allow any more bodies, any more uh, cremated bodies to be buried inside the city limits. Only people who die before this day, January 1st, whatever day it was, 2010, can be buried within Beijing. After that, you'll forever be outside Beijing. So you know what some old folks did? They took it to their own hands. They committed suicide so that their body would forever be inside the city limits of Beijing. So they'd always be old Beijing. But then some, in 2003, they wanted this, but they got SARS, and they said, "Oh, maybe uh, maybe the remains are still diseased," so they wouldn't let those people be buried within the city limits. What's going on with this in Wuhan? I mean, people, their one thing they want to do is be buried in their hometown. It's so important in China. It's so important. The echo of their life. So, am I an influencer or an influential communicator? I wish I was a warrior. I used to be strong, but now I'm trying to be smart and kind, help people understand the real deal, what's really going on in Wuhan. What's really going on in America, we can see the first person to person spreading. So this should make people more aware. Also, these masks are almost sold out everywhere. If you can buy them, let me know. We can't seem to buy any. Order some online, but you got to wait. But the more important is the things to wash your hands with and to communicate who's been to places where there's infections. But it's always good to ask. Don't just say, "Oh, that guy's Asian. He must have the disease." You know, that's we're way past that. And I've been to Wuhan. It could be me. It doesn't matter what you look like. 是不是？我也会中文，你不知道，因为我的皮肤是白的。是这样吗？ We can't always say. But right now in Wuhan, the people are all focused. The streets are empty, except for where they're doing construction on those hospitals, which they desperately need. But it's a quarantine. Quarantine is isolated. So families have to say goodbye right there at the door. That's it. And as we know, as I told you, this story about the pregnant woman who went in, sent her husband to get the kid, and they never saw her again until she passed. And then her body is cremated and kept outside the city limits. Well, let's keep it inside the limits of our hearts, and let's do what we can. There's someone saying we should check out The Pandemic on Netflix. Huh. Yeah, some people say it sounds like the zombie apocalypse. Uh, do zombies care where they are buried? But they're people first. So thanks for the heads up. And I'd like to look at more of these headlines and then ask my friends and family in Wuhan what they think of the headlines, what they think compared to zombies, and what they think people using this to promote racism and stuff. So let's fight to stop that. All right, my friends. Always say more than yes or no. Keep communicating. Use English. Use Chinese. 用中文、英文. Communicate with new people. Don't be afraid to open up. Until then, see you next time. Bye for now. Catch you on the flip side. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile.